So, guys, this is the Stream of Consciousness podcast, and our topic today will be how can we let go of tendencies that we might have which are holding us back or are preventing us from reaching our full potential. So, my partner Pooja is joining me. This is our first podcast, and yeah, we wanted to just discuss this and see if we can get to better answers personally for ourselves and hopefully connect with you guys and get your opinion on how you feel about this topic. So what do you think, Pooja?
Yeah, so today, I kind of discovered. So, first of all, we have two sides of our brain, like the conscious brain and the unconscious brain. So, once they're aligned, you can have a better understanding about yourself. So, in my case, for the past so many years, maybe 10 years even, I've been constantly trying to work on my consciousness, like my conscious brain. So, but throughout all that growth, throughout all the work that I did on myself, there was certain discomfort in my body. There was certain dissatisfaction. No matter like what I would do, like I would be eating the best food in the world. I would be in the best place. Just like recently we were in Europe. It was amazing, but again, like that certain like dissatisfaction is still there, and I just couldn't figure out like what to name it, like what is it, because like everybody who all the people they are affected by trauma in one way or other. So when it comes to me, like yeah, I have been affected by childhood trauma as well, but then I did a lot of work. I I was no longer defined by my trauma, like in a conscious sense, like in my conscious brain. I was no longer defined by it, but like I got to figure out that my subconscious still didn't believe like that I came so far. So that's why there was a misalignment between the conscious and unconscious part. So now the thing is like you need to train your unconscious brain more. So when I say you, so like basically I'm talking about me. So depending on your situation, it could be like you need to work on your conscious brain more. So over time you will know what it is in your life that you need to work on, you know? So depending on your life situation, you will know where you are and what you need to work on. So it's just a matter of like, the things will come to you when you are ready for it. So what I mean by that is, so let's say like the video I was talking about earlier, if I had seen that video like let's say 8 months ago, I would not get the video same way, the way I understood it today, because like all the forces are in alignment and the universe wants me to understand that thing now. So that's why I was able to understand it the way I did it today. So everything will happen in due time. Yeah, so yeah, things will come to you and you just gotta do your work. Just be ready to put in the work and just never stop, never give up. And then, just have faith in yourself. Like, whatever is it that you're looking for inside, like whatever the missing thing you're looking to fill in, yeah, that will happen. Like, it will all happen in due time. Yeah, all the layers will unfold itself, like one by one. So, yeah.
And I mean, in my case, I felt like it was a situation where my subconscious mind knew that I was capable of more than what in terms of my potential of what I was living up to. So my conscious mind, in my example, was the one that I felt like was holding me back in the past and saying that I can be just complacent and not really be growth oriented and be stuck more so on path of least resistance, and I felt like I spent my 20s to my 30s, that one decade was felt like a somewhat of a lost decade, just in terms of growth, not really in the sense of regret or feeling like I have to go back and change something, but given this circumstances, if I could do it again, would I prefer to do it better or to do it with more consciousness? I would say in that situation, yeah. But now my subconscious is the one that's in misalignment once again with the conscious mind, because the subconscious is saying that I'm not living up to my potential in terms of, my spiritual growth, my career growth, my practical goals, and meanwhile my conscious mind is just kind of putting it all on the back burner as a kind of a misaligned coping mechanism to not have to face my responsibilities as an adult head on. It's kind of like my inner child, as a result of my past and the trauma that I've gone through. It feels like that inner child was staying in the driver's seat long past his time and was dictating and making decisions for me which were detrimental. And so my subconscious was crying out for my adult self to take the wheel. It was asking me to step up as a more responsible person, and it's not really necessarily about any one specific career route or any one specific aspect of my life where it felt like I was stagnating, but just overall almost all things in life which were related to taking more charge of my life. I was much more of a passive observer of my life rather than an active participant in it. And I think that's where the subconscious had tried to inform my conscious mind to make better decisions, to be more growth oriented, to look at things from the perspective of the phase in life which I was at. Right now I'm 32, but it felt like for a long time that 5-year-old self in me was, intermittently taking control and making decisions for me and holding me back in ways which were appropriate at that age. At 5 it was fine, but there's a reason we don't let 5-year-olds drive the car, because they don't have the necessary understanding of consequences of their actions. They don't have the necessary motor skills to drive a car. They don't even have necessarily the height and the length that's needed for them to even reach the accelerator or brake. So it's like a 5-year-old was driving my car, and so it was a runaway vehicle, and it was just completely it was in disarray, and the conscious mind was allowing this to happen while the subconscious tried to wrestle control away from that inner child. But for that, I was able to, over the past couple of months, do more and more inner child therapy, to do more positive affirmations, to visualize a more growth oriented life for myself. And that really helped me see the places in which I was stuck and the places in which I could say that my growth had really stagnated. Whereas now I see a much more hopeful future for me as an individual. I see a much better path forward as a more responsible adult, as a active participant in my life, as a hopefully a better partner to you, and just a better son to my parents, a better sibling to my brother, a better friend to the people around me. So just when you elevate yourself in one way, it tends to have a positive side effect on other aspects of your life. And then the opposite is also true, is when you stagnate and you don't allow yourself to grow into your next phase and evolve into the next better version of yourself day by day, month by month, year by year, then that also has a side effect on the people around you, where they feel, you know, that you're not living up to your potential, that you're not growth oriented, and they can sense that energy inside of you, your subconscious, which is communicating probably with the people around you that you can do better, you can be a better person. And that's the discomfort it brings with all your relationships, whether it's your friends, your family, or your partner. They will sense that potential in you, and they will push you to do better, to be better. So now, on this topic of letting go of our tendencies that aren't serving us, and in fact perhaps even harming our relationships, like, I think the way forward is, as often is the case, is more consciousness, more awareness regarding what our default programming is. The things that we think we are, the things that we think the people around us are, they help limit what the infinite possibilities of how much a person can grow, or how much a person can surprise you. And oftentimes there's people who say, you saw something in me which I didn't see in myself. And I think that is what it is. It's our tendencies, our shadow self, or our darker tendencies, is something where other people can see we can do better, that we can be better. And sometimes we have a blind spot regarding our default setting and our upbringing, or whatever software we've ended up working with and building on over the course of our lives. And I think the concept of the neuroplasticity aspect of it comes in, and it really helps us see that, hey, we don't really have to keep operating from that default programming, and there's a better way forward. There's a way to break through and shatter those old limitations that we may have set on ourselves, and replace them with a more hopeful, a more positive perspective on our future. I think that's kind of the goal here for I think both of us, is this is how we can replace our more difficult tendencies with things that are instead enabling us to evolve.
Definitely, we can only look forward. There can be no going back in the past, and we can only look forward in that direction, and we can work on it while being in the present. And for a long time, like when I started working on myself, I was journaling every day. I would make a conscious effort to be the person who I want to be. So I had the visualization, and the person I aspired to be, I wanted to bring that person in real life, and in so many ways I did. But what was happening, my subconscious still wouldn't believe that. So what would happen, even though consciously I did train myself that okay, I can do whatever I want, and I did believe in it. That's why I was able to get so many jobs. I would pass interviews to the jobs, even when I would not meet the job requirements, I was so confident in myself that okay, I will pass the interview. So, but what would happen is, so, okay, I would believe in myself, I would go for the interview, I would get the job. But then what would happen? Because some part of me still won't believe that is the truth, because that's not how I have lived my whole life. So I would go to the workplace and I would have this discomfort in myself, and I would have all this negative energy build up in myself, where I would compare myself to all the people working in the work environment. Somehow I would feel that okay, they're better than me. But that wasn't actually me believing that they are better than me. That was just my subconscious not believing that okay, I came too far. So you have to just train yourself. You have to keep training yourself. It's a process. It's gonna take you years, but I would definitely suggest journaling. So what journaling does is, so how can you work on yourself and how can you be aware? So journaling, so once you take a notebook, you start writing down. Like you can only write down aware when you're aware of your surroundings. So journaling is basically awareness. So bringing your awareness in the present moment, and like deciding and going on about your day. Like how do you want to go about your day today? What do you want to do today? And what are the goals or things that you want to accomplish maybe today or maybe tomorrow? And how would you want to see yourself in the next 5 years? And it's not just always about the future, it's always about like tracking your growth. And you can track your growth by looking back into the past and how far you have came. So when you have all those notes written down, you can actually like get a better idea and get a better understanding about yourself. And most of the time what happens is, our past experiences, our past trauma, they shape us, they shape our beliefs. And it could be negative, it could be positive, they shape us. And we go on about our day believing that is the ultimate truth about us. But deep down, something in us also says that okay, maybe this is not me, and maybe I am better than me, or maybe I am better than what I think I am. So just even thinking that, you are so blessed by the universe to be able to think that okay, you are not your experiences, you are not your negative beliefs. So once, if you think that, so the next step is you better believe that. If you're thinking that you are better than this, the next step comes is you gotta have faith in your intuition. You gotta have faith that okay, you are better than this. And then the next work is you gotta keep breaking down those layers one by one, that tells you, that gives you this limited idea of you, that this person is you, or you are only the music that you listen, you're only the movies that you listen. So what happens, yes, these can be your preferences. There can be certain preferences of music, like let's say like my partner, he likes movies, but he is not only his movies. Like I love music so much, but I'm not only my music. So what happens is, if I'm only limiting my life by okay, I love music, I love cooking, and I'm traveling. Yeah, these are a part of my life, but that's not just my life, because life is so complex. So when we narrow down our life like that, there's so many other complex elements, so many other complex aspects of our life that we are missing. So now we are just basically defined by 2 or 3 things that we do. And moving forward in line, what's that gonna do is, it's gonna hold you back, and you'll not be able to reach your potential, and you will believe like that's the truth. And oh, in the long run, it's gonna make you depressed. Because deep down you know, like okay, other than movies, I would also want to do other things. Let's say I would also want to do a job, I would also want to do I want to start a business. But because now your ego has attached itself to the identity that you have created for yourself. So now it's so hard for me, or so hard for people, to see a separation. That okay, it's okay to still do the movies, but it's okay to still like movies, it's okay to still travel, but still okay to do the job when necessary. It doesn't has to be one or the other way. So it's all about when we attach ourselves to either positive or either negative. It is negative. There is no positive attachment, there is no negative attachment. It is an attachment. So you don't need to like define yourselves ever. We don't need to define ourselves by our limited mind. We are a human being, we have certain preferences, and we go on about our day, do certain things, and yeah, that's it. And that's how some people are different. Some people will go on about their day like they will not want to travel, they are like homebodies, and that's their thing. But at the same time, that's not who they are. Same thing goes for people who love to travel. They're not just their travel. This is this thing that they like to do, that they love to do, that makes them like life even better. But even other than that, there's so many things. So now when you say that to yourself, now so many other doors will open for you. So now if you have that mindset, what will happen is tomorrow you have a job opportunity, you will know it will be coming from a self-love. You'll know it's good for you. You'll know I want to grow in life, so I should take this opportunity, rather than self-sabotaging and trying to protect your small ego that, oh, like I am not that person who does jobs, or I am not that person, I'm the person who only travels. You're just trying to like, oh, because maybe in some societal aspects, or maybe in a generalized sense, people think, oh, traveling is cool, or whatever society has defined as cool, We don't need to be defined by those terms. We just need to do what's good for us, and the life will be so much more simpler. So tomorrow, when I'm not defined by these terms, tomorrow I'll have a job. I know, okay, yeah, okay, like I like this job and it is good for me. Like it will give me some financial stability, and yeah, I can still be able to travel when I would want. Like I can take days off. And so what is happening here is, when you're like defining yourself by these limited terms, so when you say, okay, I love traveling, I love watching movies, so can you actually watch movies 24/7 a day? Can you actually travel 24/7 a day? Like, I love food, can I actually eat food 24/7 a day? No, it's not that. I like food. This is like just one part of me, So let's just stop defining us by these self-holding beliefs about ourselves. And whatever we believe we are capable of, we can do that. Let's like have self-faith. Let's have belief and faith in the universe. And why we should believe in the universe? Because for the past how many years, like 27 years of me being on this planet, everything has worked out for me so far. Even if it didn't work out for me, it has worked out for me. So there is no reason for me, or no reason for us, to not have faith in the universe, So we just need to keep our head high and keep growing in life, and keep doing service for people. And it should be coming from a place of self-fulfillment, Everything in life, it should be coming from a place of self-love. It shouldn't be coming from a place of fear. Oh, I should do service for people because I will gather up good karma. Or I should do service for people because, okay, it will make me feel like a better human being. Oh, I should do service for people because I feel like I'm better than other people. No, it doesn't work that way. Nothing can ever fulfill you. Nothing can complete you. Even service of other people, they can only enhance your life. all you have to do is you have to feel full, and everything that you will approach will be from a place of love, will be from a place of self-fulfillment, and you will be adding to other people's happiness. So rather than finding love outside of you, you become the love. You are love. You are defined by love. Like, you need to, like, whatever light is inside of you, that needs to be shine. So there will be things moving forward in life. You will know that what is the difference between trying to do something just so it can fulfill you, and knowing that, okay, doing this thing makes me happier, makes me even more fulfilled. There is a very big difference, because if you're trying to fill something inside of you, and if you're looking externally, that can never happen. No amount of like you worshipping your parents, no amount of like you being in service of other people, nothing can fulfill you. To fulfill us, we have to look inside, and everything else will be a self-expression. That if I do this, I like it. I do this, it makes me fulfilled. If I do traveling, I love it. It makes me feel connected with myself. It doesn't fulfill the void inside of me. No, that's never the case. For that, you only have to look inside. And I tell you, by the 10 years of work I've done, you are complete. You are a complete human being, because you're created by God. You don't miss anything. There's nothing that lacks inside of you. All, if you think there's something that you are lacking, or somebody else has more than you, or somebody else is blessed with more money, somebody else is blessed with more beauty, somebody else is blessed with more brains, or better job, better house, it's all in your head. It's all in the head. It's your ego talking. Because if you carry that mindset, and tomorrow if you become a billionaire, okay, you are a billionaire, but your mindset, it's not the billionaire mindset, So in your mind, you have to feel full. So no amount of external validation can fulfill you. No people, no amount of money, no amount of houses, no amount of airplanes, no amount of traveling. It has to come from inside, and that's the ego talking. You need to create self-love, and you need to start like including affirmations that tells you that you are love. And I would also say that self-love word is like really trendy these days, so don't actually follow it, because people will confuse self-love with selfishness. So let's just not go there. All you need to do is become love, and once you are love, you'll feel like you don't lack anything. There is like nothing that you're missing, and after that, like, life will be a lot more easier, and whatever your challenges are in life, you'll be able to navigate through it easily. And over time, you will see that you're no longer defined by your past trauma, because now you are operating from a place of love and not from a place of fear. And
fear being the absence of love.
Fear is the absence of love. Fear is the
absence of faith.
Fear leads to everything. Fear leads to every single thing, and every single thing is an effect and not a cause. My fear leading me to my OCD, to my codependency issues, even though I am not a codependent person. But in my mind, because I'm thinking I am, then I am that person. But my conscious mind knows I am not that person. But my subconscious, like, it never grew. So now I need to work on that. And yeah, the OCD stems from fear. Holy crap. Yeah.
Sorry about that. That's my dog
That's your dog.
trying to tell me that there's a squirrel outside or something or the other. But
yeah, like, I'm in my head all the time. And yeah, I'm in my head all the time. And then I used to be, I'll say that. I won't say I am. I used to be. And then because of that, it would affect every aspect of my life. Like even at the jobs, I would not be present. In social situations, I would not be present. And there were so many unresolved issues that I have not resolved in my subconscious. So I would suppress those things and they would come out in those social situations, and like I would have an outburst. But yeah, just having a cohesive knowledge about this stuff, it really helps. So you need to understand this stuff from every single aspect. Like you need to consider the psychological element, the spiritual element, and then physical, your physical element, and emotional emotional aspect to it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just like the things that that hold us back are often holding us back in multiple ways. Like if we're self-sabotaging in one aspect of our life, it'll often show up in terms of not taking care of our body. We may not be being as fit as would be, a better version of ourselves, or we might not be as fit as we might want to be. We might not be taking care of our mindset and our energy like we might want to. So that one, element will end up spilling over into multiple facets of our life. It seems to be, in my experience, that your kind of mind, body, soul, spirit, emotions kind of all have to be in a fair amount of balance for you to feel that things are truly trending in the right direction. And it's like constantly we'll be given signals from our body or our mind when things are going right, and then the opposite of that when we're at a phase of life where we're stressed out. I personally have seen physiological effects manifesting in my body based on the amount of stress going on at a particular phase in life. And especially in Western medicine, there seems to be more of a understanding that any physical thing, that ailment that we're dealing with, is purely physical. So doctors tend to only try to medicate us to deal with that physical side, or if someone is going through mental health problems, depression, anxiety, so forth, the answer often given by Western medicine will be just to prescribe medication, lithium, antidepressants, so forth. And of course, they do help many people, and it's not any kind of a, statement against it. But it would perhaps help that same person who is perhaps taking antidepressant. It would be better if they approach things in a slightly more holistic way. I mean, it doesn't seem like it would do any harm if someone were to also consider how are their interpersonal relationships going in life, how is their career, what is their stress level, what's their overall feeling of well-being like, how do they see the trajectory of their life? Do they feel in control, or do they feel like things are out of control? All these holistic factors could also help someone who might be going through a phase in life where they might be depressed, or feeling suicidal. It just might be more helpful to approach our struggles, physical or mental, from multitude of angles rather than just one aspect. So if we're able to leave behind our self-sabotaging tendencies, we'll see growth coming out of it for the right reasons in many aspects of our life. In my experience, I've noticed that then when things are going well, they're often going well in a lot of ways, and when things are going wrong, then I've seen that my body has also started to show me signals that, hey, things are not in alignment and you have to take care of this and address this, inner wound or psychological stress or emotional pain or past trauma that hasn't been dealt with. All these, factors have to be considered when we're trying to grow into the higher self. We're trying to grow into better versions of ourselves,
Yeah.
So, I mean, the topic of how can we leave behind our more self-sabotaging tendencies and grow into ourselves, it continues towards that same direction of like constant awareness and mindfulness, and trying our best to align ourselves physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, interpersonally, and yeah, in both of our experiences, we've seen that when we do address all those different aspects, we see our growth being more resilient. We see the neuroplasticity, playing out right in front of our eyes, where 2 years ago, the people that we were versus now, we have been able to be much more aware of our tendencies to disregard our health or not have the empathy to understand each other, knowing that there's a disconnect between us, and that we should be communicating about it rather than just repressing it. I mean, there were so many things that we learned in that past couple of years which have really helped us come into our own and hopefully be better people today than we were yesterday. And of course, it's never a linear graph. It's never just a consistent, upward trend, but it's similar to what we see with the stock market or any kind of metric which we can observe over a long period of time, that it's an upward trend with small peaks and troughs or big peaks and troughs in the middle. But overall, when we zoom out, we do see, oh, here I am 10 years ago where I was in my spiritual and personal growth, and where I am now. You'll just see, oh, there's a major upward trajectory here, and yet there's more work to do, and there's more moments where we can show our consciousness and our mindfulness and our understanding for other people when they are having a difficult moment, perhaps, where they might do or say something that hurts us. We can hopefully understand others better, that we don't end up, on purpose or inadvertently hurting the people around us who we tend to care about quite a bit, but also oftentimes hurt the most. We don't often hurt the person at our local coffee shop as badly as our loved ones. And the opposite is also true, that they don't often say anything that's truly so impactful to us in a negative way as sometimes our loved ones end up saying to us. So it just goes, reciprocal, that we ought to catch ourselves in moments of I mean, yeah, it's better to catch ourselves in moments of when we're about to say or do something that may hurt a loved one or anyone for that matter, and also have more compassion if someone is going through a difficult phase uh, in their life, and if they say something which ends up hurting our feelings, have the compassion to understand, hey, they're approaching this from all the hurt that they've been through, and that only more love and compassion is needed here. There are just better ways in which we can handle those darker moments, our shadow side, and our sabotaging tendencies. There are just better ways to handle those with more mindfulness and awareness. Yeah, I mean, that's just the long winded way of saying that. Sorry, it's our first podcast, so maybe we've had a lot of long winded takes on things, but like, we're hoping to call this podcast the stream of consciousness, so just think of it like that, and don't hold it against us. Pooja, do you have any words to
Yeah,
wrap it up?
I just wanted to add to it. It's one thing that can be really crucial. Mm, like if you have a tendency to be self-critical, and that's not gonna take you too far, because why does self-criticism comes, like it actually is coming from a place that you need to do something perfectly. And why does that come? Maybe in the past you did made a mistake and you get shouted at, you get yelled at by your parents, and now you feel the need to do everything perfectly. So you need to show yourself love, compassion. You need to treat yourself with so much self-love, because let's say if somebody else is making a mistake, you won't yell at them most likely, because first of all, you'll know it's not your right. Second of all, you'll have more compassion for them, and you'll tell them that it's okay, people make mistakes, and you can learn from it, and you can move forward and just learn from whatever mistake you did. Why can't we have the same compassion for ourselves that we can have for people? And once we treat ourselves with love and compassion, we'll be able to treat other people better, that's for sure. And then if you have this tendency to be self-critical, in the long run what's going to happen is, let's say you did all this growth, right? And now there is like you're going through a tough moment, there's a sad moment in your life. Now you'll have this negativity bias, because you will not be able to see the picture clearly, because now you are taking yourself too seriously, that you are somebody who does everything perfectly, and regardless of all the growth you did, you'll be critical to you, and you're gonna have a breakdown and you're gonna be depressed. But rather, if you can see the reality as is, if you can treat yourself with love, you will see how much you grew. You grew like 90%, and 10% of the time you were weak. And around that time, you can have that energy to show yourself some love. And then only if you have that energy, you'll be able to move forward. And so I really do believe like you need to tackle this self-critical tendencies. You need to work on that, and this will help you get far in life for sure, because as long as you're working, like, have faith in yourself. Don't beat yourself up over the smallest of things, because that would mean your faith in yourself is very shakeable. You gotta have that unshakable belief. It's okay, I will have tough times, I will have low times, I'll have low moments, but regardless, I believe in myself, and I'll keep growing, and I'll keep growing. And yeah, that's what I wanted to add. And another thing that I wanted to add was, when Vishal was talking about, I don't know, I don't remember, but yeah, I wanted to say, when, like, yeah, I wanted to say neuroplasticity is like 1000% real. It's 1000% real because when I used to be like between the age of 12 to 18, like let's say 12 to 20, I would be sleeping in my room all day long. I wouldn't like that because at that time I don't have the mental ability to understand like what's going on in my life, in my body, in my brain. I had no tools like that. I had all the unhealthy tools. So that's why I was like, okay, if I can just sleep, I can avoid all the problems. So, but that wasn't the case. So, moving forward, fast forward to my like early 20s, I decided that I don't want to live this way anymore. I started waking up, I started taking a shower every single day non-stop, and I would make up my bed, and then I would be more organized in my life. And just me being organized in that aspect of my life, I could see the changes it showed in my other aspects of life. Let's say in my career, I would be more organized. I would know, like, okay, I need to be here or there on time, and I need to apply for this job. If there's an assignment, I would know I need to do this thing on time. But then I realized this thing after like 4 or 5 years. What I was doing is I was only training my conscious mind. What does that mean is you are only operating from a practical point of view. So that's why for a long time I would think maybe I'm lacking empathy and maybe I'm lacking love. So once you combine all these things and you grow in life, that's a holistic growth. So like, yeah, I really grew in the practical sense, and then I would differentiate empathy and love from the consciousness. It was not in my awareness. I would always split these things. Like, I would be like, okay, there are two sides to the brain. The conscious brain is okay, is the practical brain, even though that's true. But it's true in the sense, even though there are like two brains, but it's a one brain. Like, that's how they're intertwined. But in my brain, I can actually see it as two different brains. So that was really tough, and I figured it out today. Like, that is something I need to work on, and moving forward, I have all the right tools, I have the healthy tools, and I guess everybody has. Like, you can just go on YouTube, and whatever you are dealing with, you can just search on YouTube and you'll find all the articles. Everything is there, and it's just a matter of like actually going on YouTube and searching and getting to know about your current situation, and yeah, I literally, like, I had split my brain into two. Like, either I am practical person or either I'm somebody with empathy, but I am a collection of all these things. Even my brain is a collection of all these tools, and when the time is right, depending on the situation, I will use the right tools. So brain will do that thing for me. That is brain's work. It will provide me the right tool when I will need it. So rather than me making a separation in my head and getting confused about it, and hopefully I will not do that anymore. It was just like a matter of like things falling into place for me, and I'm like happy that I happened to see this video today. I don't know what channel posted that video, I don't know, but yeah, it's just a matter of like how things click for you. Yeah, it will come to you, it will come to you. It's a small, it will be the smallest of things, and it can change your whole life, but yeah, neuroplasticity is possible, and you being not defined by your trauma, very much possible. You have the right to live a healthy, fulfilling, loving life. You should like let your inner light shine. You have all the right to do that. You have the right to love yourself. You're capable of loving everybody. You're capable of loving people around you. So all those good qualities in you, you can embrace that, and that's when you will be no longer living in your like past shadow that is making you like uncomfortable, that is making you dissatisfied, that's making you feel like all these negative emotions. Like, I mean, who doesn't want to live a healthy life? Everybody wants to love themselves, to love the people around them, and not hurt other people. But what most of the people are doing, they're actually hurting other people. And it's just a matter of knowing that once you make the separation, once you tell yourself you're not the person who hurt other people, so now you're actually making the separation. Once you identify yourself, once you tell yourself, oh, I just hurt people, then you're gonna keep hurting people. It's just a matter of how you perceive yourself, and how the language you talk yourself with, the way you talk to yourself, that matters the most. So you just gotta say good things, and keep like reaching your full potential, because or else it's gonna create so much resentment. By the time we are old, we'll just have resentments. We'll just have resentment towards us, towards other people, that, oh, I was capable of doing this, I didn't do that. Oh, this person had this job, I could do that job. Oh, because I got married and then I got busy, that's why I couldn't do that. No. There is no excuses in life. So if you want to do something, you can do it. There are no excuses. Just live up to your potential. That's the most important thing. And I think that's why we are here. That's why we are here on planet Earth, to reach our full potential. Unlock your true potential. Like, know who you are. Deep down, you're a beautiful soul. Everybody is a beautiful person deep down. And yeah, like, whatever makes you happy, do that. And combining that with the practical sense, once you have all those healthy tools, you'll do that. And what matters most in life, like the relationships and the people you have in your life, just treat them nicely and they will treat you nicely, and then they will add so much value to your life. And
I mean,
yeah,
there have been studies done of moments where someone is on their deathbed, and one of the biggest regrets that people have oftentimes are related to the various relationships in their lives, whether it's with their parents or their siblings or their partners or their children or their wives and husbands and loved ones. It's oftentimes that's who they're thinking of, when they're on their deathbed. They often want to be surrounded by their loved ones. They want to spend those last moments with them, because at the end of the day, at your ultimate point of decay, and when you feel that your consciousness has done its time in this particular body on this planet, the people that you want around are the ones that you clearly value. So, it's like we spend a lifetime sometimes at various junctures hurting our parents and, our loved ones. And then when it comes time to depart this planet, then those are the moments that we're thinking of sometimes in terms of we wish we could have done it better. And those are the people who we most often tend to be surrounded by in those last moments. So why not have the awareness and consciousness now to not cause any sort of suffering, whether it's to the people close to us or to strangers or people we're coming across just for a moment. But the point being, why create that sense of suffering? Because it's that that old adage that the negativity will always attract more negativity, and vice versa, the positivity will always attract positive emotions. So it's just those two things come together for that's the, thesis of, I guess, this particular conversation, is that we want to pursue things which are more for our growth and evolution, and we want to minimize our self-sabotaging, self-destructive tendencies, which include hurting other people. Believe it or not, I think that's a self-destructive tendency if we're causing suffering to other people. So, yep, that's been our podcast, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye bye.
Take care.